Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Go Premanandi. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivajagacharya Stotaka Shri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhai Chandravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivajagacharya Stotaka Shri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Swami Thakur Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Gauri Vaishnava Vrind Ki. Namamacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrind Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki. Shri Mathura Dham Ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki. Mayapur Dham Ki. Ganga Mai Ki. Yamuna Mai Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Shri Yugadama Hainam Sanketan Yagya Ki. Shri Prabhupada Translation Book Distribution Ki. Shri Prabhupada Translation Prasadam Distribution Ki. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Shri Guru Jai Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for coming to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 7, titled The Sacrifice Performed by Daksha. And we are reading from text 34. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 4, Chapter 7, Text 34. Rishaya Uchu Ananvitam te Bhagavan Vichestitam Yadatmana charasi karmana jase Vibhutaye yata upashadurishwarim Namanyate swayam anuvartatim bhavan Rishaya uchu Ananvitam te Bhagavan vichesitam Yadatmana charasi karmana jase Vibhutaye yata upashadurishwarim Namanyate swayam anuvartatim bhavan Rishaya uchu Ananvitam te Bhagavan vichestitam Yadatmana charasi karmana jase Vibhutaye yata upashadurishwarim Namanyate swayam anuvartatim bhavan
Karmana charasi karmana
Word for word translation. Rishaya, the sages. Uchuhu, prayed. Ananvitam, wonderful. Te, your. Bhagavan, O possessor of all opulences. Vicheshtitam, activities. Yat, which. Atmana, by your potencies. Charasi, you execute. He, certainly. Karma, to such activities. Na ajyase, you are not attached. Vibhutaye, for her mercy. Yata, from whom. Upashadu, worshipped. Ishwarim, Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. Na manyate, are not attached. Swayam, yourself. Anuvartatim, to your obedient servant Lakshmi. Bhavan, your lordship. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Chandra Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. The sages prayed, Dear Lord, your activity the most wonderful, and although you do everything by your different potencies, you are not at all attached to such activities. You are not even attached to the goddess of fortune, who is worshipped by the great demigods like Brahma, who pray to achieve her mercy. In Bhagavad Gita it is said that the Lord has no desire to achieve any result from his wonderful activities, nor has he any need to perform them. But still, in order to give an example to people in general, he sometimes acts, and those activities are very wonderful. He is not attached to anything. Namam karmani limpanti. Although he acts very wonderfully, he is not at all attached to anything. Bhagavad Gita 4.14. He is self-sufficient. The example is given here that the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, is always engaged in the service of the Lord, but still he is not attached to her. Even great demigods like Brahma worship the goddess of fortune in order to win her favor. But although the Lord is worshipped by many hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune, he is not at all attached to any one of them. This distinction concerning the exalted, transcendental position of the Lord is specifically mentioned by the great sages. He is not like the ordinary living entity who is attached to the results of pious activities. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Dagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vishubhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatirubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. This morning we're reading from Canto 4, Chapter 7, Text 34. I'll read the translation. The sages prayed, Dear Lord, your activities are most wonderful, and although you do everything by different potencies, you're not at all attached to such activities. You are not even attached to the goddess of fortune, who is worshipped by the great demigods like Brahma, who pray to achieve her mercy. So in this section of the Bhagavatam, the different personalities such as Bhrigu, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, the wives, and now the sages are praying, offering their innermost desires to the Lord, requesting Him to please bless the assembly. I was recently hearing a class by Grace Jananivash Prabhu on this verse actually itself, and he was saying that how these are sort of like official praises. Because Bhrigu Muni, even though after he says all these things, what does he do next? He goes and kicks the Lord. So, in the following chapter we'll see Dhruva Maharaj, after offering such prayers, his heart is transformed. But these different personalities, yet they still sort of like go back to their old ways. Although they are great personalities, so it's not 10% pure. So in this verse, there is, in the translation itself, Srila Prabhupada writes, he quotes from Bhagavad Gita 4.14, Namam karmani limpanti, name karma phalaspriha, iti mam yo bijanati karma bhi na sabhadyate. There's no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me does not become entangled in the fruit of action, reactions of work. So Krishna says that no work affects me, so he's not obliged to do anything, and he's not implicated if he doesn't do anything. So there's nothing there for him to do. That would be nice, right? Nothing for him to do. So Nrsimha Prabhu, tomorrow if we say there's nothing for you to do, what will you do? You'll do what you like to do. So Krishna does what he likes to do. Everything is his pastime. Listen to a class by Holiness Niranjan Maharaj, and he was speaking on this. Everything is done for Krishna, basically Parasya Shakti Vividaya Vishruyate. Everything is done through his energies. So what we see in this world, is nothing but Krishna's energies. Actually, take it a step further, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this is described as nothing but transformation of Krishna's energies, parinamavad. Because if you say everything is energy, then there's this inclination for us to get into what Sankaracharya expounded on. So everything is a transformation of Krishna's energies, and Srila Prabhupada beautifully writes in the purpose that like how a businessman, he puts his energies, and his energies are transformed into factories and different enterprises, and so many things come out of it. So it's a transformation of energy. So Krishna is obviously on a much grander scale. But this point has been explained in great depth in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in the last chapter, I believe, of the Adi Leela, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking to Prakashananda Saraswati and the sannyasis. So there's nothing there for Krishna to do, so whatever he does is actually his pastime. And then the example that is given here, that he's not even attached to the goddess of fortune. So we see that in Krishna's pastimes too, that he leaves the rasa dance midway. Even though it's surrounded by, it is said, actually millions of gopis. And these gopis are the most beautiful beings in creation, or, that one cannot even imagine, and Krishna just leaves them in the midst of the rasa dance, because the acharyas say that they felt that each there's a certain bit of pride in there, and Krishna wanted to take off that pride, so he leaves and then he comes back again. And then when he joins the rasa dance, it's that each gopi felt that Krishna was just there with them. So there's Krishna, as he says, the Krishna is Bhagavan, one who possesses opulences. And as we understand that there are 6 kinds of opulences: wealth, knowledge, beauty, fame, renunciation, and power. And then if you have a closer look at it, even the opulence of renunciation is there in Krishna in full. He's not attached to it at all. In the 10th canto, there's this pastime of Sudama Brahmana, who comes to, who grows up with Krishna, but then later on, as life circumstances, he's at his home and he's affected by severe poverty, and his the request, even though he is actually not in need of anything, his wife requests him to please go and ask his friend Krishna for help, because he's very charitable to the Brahmanas. So he goes, and they're so poor that they don't even have anything to offer to him. So his wife has to beg some broken grains of some chip rice, some puff rice for Sudama to take to Krishna. So while Sudama Brahmana goes, when he enters Dwarka, Krishna, who's being served by Rukmini, immediately the moment Rukmini sees Sudama come, she gets down, and then Krishna pays obeisance to Sudama, washes his feet, and he serves him with so much of love that Sudama Brahmana just forgets the whole reason for which he comes there, which is to ask for. He's, like I said, he's not wanting for it, but he's just because he's feeling obliged to do so. So they exchange, they speak of their childhood, or what had actually happened, how they spent the most beautiful years of their life serving their spiritual master, their recollections. And then when Sudama Brahmana, after he's been served, he's offered prasad, and then he takes rest, and while he's taking rest at night, he's just marveling at the beauty of the palace, and he just feels, this is none other than Vaikuntha itself. And then he's just feeling so much of gratitude, so much of affection for the Lord, and he's just saying how wonderful my Lord is, that in fact it is good that I didn't ask him for anything, because had I asked him, then he whatever wealth I would have received from him, it would have made me proud and made me forgetful of my Lord. So he spends his night in this way, and the next morning he leaves. Again, he doesn't ask Krishna for anything, and as he's walking, he's just marveling and just reminiscing all the exchanges that he had with the Lord. And then when he enters his village, he just sees from far there are palaces. There's these beautiful denizens who are coming him to welcome him, who just seem like these, some people from the heavenly abode. And then he sees his wife all bedecked, and he doesn't recognize her at first instance. And then, but he still is in the same forlorn clothing that he had, just for his wife to recognize him. And then he enters, and then he just sees, well, this palace is be transformed, and I can't think of anything else but the mercy of the Lord. Now, while Krishna, while he was there at Dwarka, Krishna asked him, "What have you brought for me?" And he's so hesitant because he's just so embarrassed to offer Krishna the rice that he has actually brought. And then Krishna just steals it from him, or just takes it from him and has a morsel. And while he's about to take the second morsel, Rukmini tells him, "My lord, just by eating one morsel, you've given him enough for this life and the next. On the second morsel, I'll have to go to his house. So you better stop here." And then she stops. The Lord says, "This is the best offering that I've received, even though you've offered it to me with love and devotion. I accept it." So similarly, the Lord reciprocated with, even though Sudama never disclosed to the Lord the reason for his coming there, the Lord blessed him abundantly, and then Sudama Brahmanan realized that this opulence is given to me by the Lord, so I have to engage it in his service. I can't enjoy it for myself. And Sri Jiva Goswami in his commentary writes that Sudama Brahmana, through his devotion, through his love, to his service, his last traces of material contamination are removed. That's what Srila Prabhupada writes in the Krishna book. And the 10th canto, the disciple of Srila Prabhupada quote Srila Jiva Goswami, that Sudama Brahmana was attached to being too renounced. So Krishna had to take off that pride. And how does he take it off? By himself serving the Brahmanas. And Sudama Brahmana, when he sees that how the Lord is so submissive to the desires of his devotees, that takes away that desire of his, just to be too renounced. So the Lord doesn't like, even when, we may be too renounced, sometimes people may come and say, "Oh, Prabhu, you're too humble, your humility is just so great." But His Holiness Bhakti Charan Maharaj said that once, if anyone ever tells you that, you should tell them it's the mercy of my spiritual master and the Vaishnavas, and you just pass on the glorification to them. Because that's the proper etiquette of being in a position of gratitude. So this deals with the pastime of Sudama and Krishna. Now there's a mention here of the goddess of fortune. And again in the 10th canto, in the Krishna book, this is beautiful pastime. We should read it. Talks between Krishna and Rukmini. Now, Rukmini was obviously one of the most favorite queens of Krishna. There's Satyabhama and there are so many others. But Krishna would spend a lot of time with Rukmini. Although, as we see, he had 16,108 wives and he expanded himself with each one of them, but obviously it's described that he would spend a lot of time with her, due to which Rukmini felt that Krishna is only spending time with me. So again, Krishna, just to reduce that pride, and because he doesn't like pride in his devotees, because then that impedes our love for him. Our loving sentiments are impeded, if there's been a slight trace of pride in us. So he notices that, and it's Srila Prabhupada writes in the Krishna book that with each of the wives, Krishna would at times just pick out something by which there would be some sort of you can call it a friendly banter, but the wife would always be offering joking words to him, but at times he would he would prefer a bit of cynicism, a bit of criticism from the wife, just to balance out the equation a little. In fact, Krishna says, "The sarcastic comments of the gopis are more pleasing to me than the prayers of the Vedas personified itself." So this happens. So Krishna is trying to find of how to irritate Rukmini just a little, just to spice things up a bit. And he notices that Rukmini is always very grave. Like unlike the other queens who can be a bit joking or a bit friendly, but Rukmini is always very grave, just always serving him at any moment. In fact, there are so many servants there, but Rukmini always looks to serving Krishna personally, taking the chamra fan and massaging him. So then Krishna finds an opportunity and he tells her, Rukmini, you had such qualified kings like Shishupal who wanted to marry you. Why did you choose me? And in fact, he was so mad after you, and he could have been a faithful husband, unlike me. So he starts off the conversation like that, just to see what Rukmini would say. And then he says, actually, I was afraid of Jarasandha and other kings. So you see, I actually don't even have a kingdom on the land. My kingdom is in the sea. And he says, actually, I don't even have a kingdom, because actually I had come to kill my uncle Kamsa and his kingdom by, as a matter of etiquette, should have gone to Ugrasena, but now I have it. So I don't even have a kingdom, so why are you with me? And just bear in mind, at this point in time, when Krishna is telling Rukmini, they already have grown-up sons. So it's not that they're newly married, they have grown-up sons. And then he proceeds saying that, actually people don't even know about my character. I was born and I was taken by my father to Gokul. I was raised by my foster parents, Nanda Maharaj, and I should have been there looking after cows and the other, other affairs of the village. But I left them and I came here now, and now I'm a king. So actually, I have no aim in life, and people also think that I'm a bit of a vagabond. What am I doing here? So, and to be honest to you, I'm not very polished when it comes to social etiquette. I'm a village boy. So all these queens, all serving me with so much of love and respect, and I just behave the way I've behaved with the ladies in the village. So there's nothing there. That there's no, a lot of time it is said there should be marriage between equals, but there's no, I'm a village boy, you're a polished and sophisticated princess, what are you doing here with me? And I'm also penniless, I own nothing. So wealthy people actually don't come to me, they usually run away from me. My devotees are the ones who are actually beggars. And to be honest to you, I didn't marry you because I loved you. I married you because I wanted to teach Shishupal, Jarasandha and all others a lesson. So I kidnapped you just to teach them a lesson. Actually, I don't love you at all. So that was the final straw. And then there were so many other, claims that Krishna makes to Rukmini just to irritate her a little. And Rukmini, the moment she hears the last bit, she just feels like, oh my God, Krishna is going to leave me. And again, bear in mind, this is after they've had grown-up sons. There's no, obviously in Vedic culture, there's no question of divorce. So he tells Rukmini, actually, it is still not too late. Mistakes that have been made can also be rectified. So you can actually go away, there'll be no ill feeling, and these are my reasons for you to leave me. And Rukmini just faints. She's it's described progressively that she just, her head is down. She's just perspiring. She's palpitating. She just doesn't know how to respond to it, because Krishna wanted her to get angry and then rebuke him. But now there's an opposite effect. And then she faints, and then Krishna then picks her up, caresses her, massages her, and then speaks loving words to her. And then when Rukmini finally comes to her, finally regains her consciousness, then she says, she acknowledges Krishna for all that, for all the sweet words that he speaks, and then she starts responding to him to each of those claims and actually tells the reasons why she chooses to be with him. So again, a devotee is not sentimental, a devotee is in full knowledge. His great Jananimas Prabhu was saying that, and in fact, in one of the later verses in this chapter, it is said those who actually worship the deity, they're actually Vedavadis, they actually are fully in tune with the Vedic injunctions. So knowledge, jnana and vairagya actually are manifest to the devotee automatically. There's no separate endeavor for it. So Rukmini says to him that you're afraid of the kings, but who are the kings in this material world? The kings are the three modes of material nature. They are the ones, the modes are actually the controllers. So everyone's under those modes. So you are actually above the modes. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I'm above the modes, original and inexhaustible. That means that the modes, so we are currently covered by the modes, but we just need to, we can't see Krishna as it is because we're covered by the modes. So there's this, I'll come to it later. So she tells him the kings are the ones who are three modes of nature. Then she says, Krishna says, I've created many enemies. And she says, the enemies in this world are the senses, who actually deprive one of their true spiritual nature. And then she says, then when Krishna, earlier when he told her that people don't know my intentions, people think I have no aim in life, she said, actually your devotees who are fully devoted to you, they are sometimes looked upon as cynical and those that are lost, but they are actually the perfected sages. And they also are people can't understand them, so that's not astonishing because they are fully devoted to you. And then when Krishna says, I'm penniless, she says, yes, you're penniless because you give yourself to your devotees. There's nothing, you never hold back. You always give yourself to the devotees. And when Krishna says that I'm only worshipped by beggars, she's like, those beggars are exalted personalities who have surrendered everything to you. And when you say that the gopis are still weeping in separation, how is it that saintly kings who have renounced everything in this world have entered into the forest, performing austerities, worshipping your lotus feet? How is it that they're fully satisfied? So I don't agree with you on that bit. And then she says, you say that you kidnapped me just to teach them a lesson, but actually you came and like how a lion kidnaps a jackal. The jackal is insignificant compared to a lion. All these other kings were insignificant in front of you. So you were the true lion. And I'm in the company of a lion-like person. So why should I feel that I need to leave you? And then finally she concludes by saying that despite my beauty, despite my qualification, the fact that you're not attached to me is not at all surprising. It's completely normal. It's totally understandable because you're not attached to anything of this world. So despite all that, I still continue to worship you. And then Krishna responds back, actually, I was just trying to test you. And then he responds by telling her that, the reason for which she has passed the test. So again, nothing else pleases Krishna more than love, unconditional love. And even, as I just said here, that even those that are renounced are not attached to being renounced. Srila Prabhupada said this, first Krishna tested me by taking everything from me, and then he tested me by giving back everything manifold. So there's this pastime of, I think maybe I've mentioned it earlier, Tamal Krishna Maharaj was once saying that he went, a sadhu came to him, or maybe a disciple of a sadhu came to him, and he said, my sadhu is so detached from money that even when you give him money, he doesn't know what to do. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, if you give my guru any money with your left hand, with his right hand, he'd have already spent it the next minute. That's how Yukta Vairagya is. So, any of the six kinds of opulences, or the six features that causes one to be of any value in this world, cannot attract Krishna unless and until it is done with the spirit of loving devotion. And that is a practice, that's an art. Just 3 days ago, when we heard the news of the passing away of Gopal Krishna Maharaj, I'm not sure if everyone has had a chance to see, but there's some videos circulating of Maharaj, how even in his sleep he's performing arati to the Lord. So just, someone so qualified, someone who had such responsibilities, something like, I think, over the last 5 decades, he was serving in so many capacities, and like I said, internationally and in India. And what is he doing? Worshipping Arati to the Lord. That's what he's attached to. He's not attached to anything else. And that obviously signifies a simplicity in our attempts to approach Krishna. So here, as we see, these different personalities are offering their prayers. Some of them, especially like I said earlier, Bhrigu Muni, what he does is he goes and kicks the Lord. And Daksha, even though this pastime would end and he'll actually be reinstated to his position, but later on again he does something else in the 6th canto, which is described in detail. So there's a bit of an official, it's coming from a place of an official means of worship, but again these are all glorious personalities, and they're showing us the way by which we should offer our gratitude to the Lord, even though it may be mixed, but that gratitude to the Lord is what endears us to Him. So I'll end here. It's almost 8:45. Maybe a question or a comment before we end. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. If you read in text 22, as soon as Lord Vishnu was visible, all the demigods, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, the Gandharvas, and all present, they immediately offered the respectful obeisance by falling down straight before them. And then in text 24, although the mental scope of even demigods and like Brahma was unable to comprehend the unlimited glories of the Supreme Lord, they were all able to perceive the transcendental form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by His grace. Only by such grace could they offer their respectful prayers according to their different capacities. So it's His grace, and then prior to that, whoever was at fault admitted their wrongdoings, and then to seek forgiveness from Lord Shiva, who's a devotee of of Lord Vishnu. So that just by offering glorifications to the servant of the Lord, then the Lord becomes pleased.
Is it the same case with the Nagapatnis as well? They acquired similar knowledge due to the prisons?
I can't recall exactly what made it, but the fact that, if I'm just repeating what I remember, the Nagapatnis, the moment, you mean the wives of Kaliya, right? Yeah. The wives of Kaliya, what's interesting is that they offer prayers and then Kalia repeats the same sort of prayers later on. So I can't remember exactly if they had prior knowledge to it, but my understanding, like it could be my speculation that because of the presence of the Lord and just seeing the Lord in that beautiful form that they were able to offer such prayers to them. Sure. Okay, nothing else? Yes, Hare Krishna. So His Grace Janani Prabhu is saying there are two things, rasa and tattva. In tattva, Krishna acts detached. In rasa, you will see that Krishna is very much attached to the gopis. Like even if you see him, Nanda Maharaj in the, I think when after the Govardhan pastime is finished, they go to Nanda Maharaj and say, oh, your son is like Narayan, and he says, wait a minute, he's always running and having laddus, he's always enjoying, he doesn't perform any austerities as such. We hear complaints about him, so that's rasa. So in rasa he's very much attached, but in tattva, these are the two things that Janani Prabhu is saying that in fact what it is said, 7 Manushanam sahasheshu kaschid yata siddhaye yatati api siddhanam kaschin mamveti tattvataha. One who knows me in truth. So tattva is actually what is liberating. Now beyond liberating, then it's the rasa that actually attracts us. So in nectar devotion, the rasa is most, and so Krishna knows the rasa raj. So you'll see Krishna and Narayan, Lord Narayan of Vaikuntha. Krishna is the one aspect that differentiates Krishna from Narayan is the sweetness. The sweetness of Krishna, and that was only available in Vrindavan. So in Vrindavan, yes, he's bound by love of his devotees, but then outside of it, obviously it's Narayan, and there you see that there's this tattva that actually comes into place. Okay, thank you very much. Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Hita Go Premanande, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna.